This is KGW News at Sunrise.
It was a record-breaking year for wildfires in the Northwest. And as we approach the end of fire season, we take a look back at how it all started, where we are now, and the damage left behind.
I saw this next story over the weekend. This is pretty cool. A Beaverton teacher created workspaces for his remote learning students, and he made them all with cardboard. That's a cardboard workspace right there.
Cool.
Really cool. So we're also going to share how the school was able to make sure that every student got one of those cardboard creations.
And there's already been plenty of change this year, and that's not going to stop during the holidays. Which of your favorite traditions are canceled or going virtual to keep you safe this holiday season? That's coming up.
Apparently, our director, Brian Matthews, did not want to stop showing those cardboard creations. So
Technical
we will have
difficulties.
Nah, what are you talking about? It's Monday morning. This is normal. Rod, not a bad start to the work week weather-wise either.
Yeah, no concerns today. A nice quiet Monday as we ease you back to work on a Monday. Early morning numbers, it's 49 in Hillsborough, but notice most areas are in the 50s. It's 58 degrees out in Troutdale, and even holding in the 50s down in Salem and Kaiser, where it's 53. So that's actually well above normal for this time of the year, considered a mild start for your October day. A partly to mostly cloudy day coming up, or partly sunny. Pick what you want to call it. 60 at noon and 62 at 5 p.m. I think the high today actually will be up into the mid 60s, guys.
All right. Thank you, Rod. Unfortunately, there were a string of shootings and stabbings this weekend here in Portland, and residents worry police are stretched too thin to respond to all the crime. KGW's Bryant Clerkley is live with more details for us. Good morning, Bryant.
Good morning, Brenda. And a 6-year-old girl was nearly shot in southeast Portland early Sunday morning. Now, the bullet got lodged in between the car seat behind her, according to police. It was a drive-by shooting near southeast 162nd Avenue and Hague Street. The girl, her mother, and mother's boyfriend were sitting in their car. The suspect shot at least 5 rounds before driving off. Luckily, the victims weren't hurt. On Saturday night, a stabbing on southeast 174th Avenue and Alder Street left a 15-year-old boy seriously injured. There were also 2 more shootings in the Cully and Centennial neighborhoods, and those 2 people were hurt. No arrests have been made in these cases.
People are aware that police are not responding as fast, and while they're doing the very best they can, I will give them that. It's kind of the consensus is that the cops aren't going to show up.
In September alone, police responded to 110 shootings. In September of 2019, they responded to 32. That's a 243% increase. Shootings for the entire year are up 82% over 2019. And in a statement on Sunday, Mayor Ted Wheeler called gun violence a virus ravaging the community. He also is working with Multnomah County District Attorney to make arrests and prosecute those responsible for these crimes. Back to you guys.
Yeah, the whole thing is very disturbing, Bryant. We appreciate the update. Also this morning, though, we do want to take a minute to talk about some of the good things that are happening in our city. This weekend, about 60 people came out for a city cleanup called De-Trash Portland. They started at Buckman Elementary in Southeast, and they fanned out to the surrounding blocks picking up trash. Organizers say after everything that's happened in 2020, volunteering for something simple like this is therapeutic.
There's so many problems, like you mentioned, that people don't know how they can control. But if you see a piece of trash, you pick up that piece of trash. That's the tangible difference that you made there. And then times that by what you can do in 2 hours, how many thousands of pieces of trash that 60 people can basically pick up today. I am realistically expecting us to pick up 500 pounds of trash.
Wow, that is awesome. And he had reason to be optimistic. Look at this. We got photos of the final haul. Wow. 67 bags of trash. Good job, you guys. De-Trash Portland holds outdoor cleanups every weekend. You can find more information if you'd like to join in. Just go to kgw.com. Okay, Drew, you know, we have been counting down and we are just over 2 weeks out now from the election day. Some mail was actually stolen over the weekend in Camas, but police there are trying to reassure people that crime is not politically motivated.
So we're talking about what's known as the Prune Hill neighborhood of Camas. Neighbors there say someone broke into their mailboxes, took their mail, and some of that mail did include ballots. So one of those neighbors we're talking about caught all this on their doorbell camera. Camas police say mailbox break-ins are actually pretty common. They also said in this case, the thief was apparently going after credit cards, medicine, and some other items, but not ballots. In fact, they say the thief didn't even take ballots from some of those mailboxes.
It did make me feel sort of better, not real great about my mail, because we went on a walk around the neighborhood and we just saw how many mailboxes were targeted. And we don't know what else was taken out of our mailbox. So we're really thankful that our ballots were found and returned, but we're a little concerned. We don't know what else was taken.
Yeah, so police wound up finding 6 sealed ballots at a nearby park, and an officer did return those ballots to each person's home. If you haven't filled out your ballot, by the way, or if you're still undecided on some of the races or certain issues, we have a voter guide filled with information to help you through the process. You can find that right now at kgw.com. And then once you mail in your ballot or drop it off at a drop box, we've made it easy for you to track your ballot. So you can text the word ballot to that number right there, 503-226-5088. We'll text you back with a link to the site where you can find out when your ballot is received and when it's counted. As we enter the final 2 weeks of October now, crews continue to make progress on 3 of the huge wildfires that burned hundreds of thousands of acres here in Oregon. The Riverside Fire, for starters, in Clackamas County, that's now 72% contained. In Marion County, the Beachy Creek Fire is 80% contained, and the Lions Head Fire, covering parts of Marion and Lynn counties, is now 46% contained. Thankfully, Brenda, as we move closer to November, there is an end in sight to this year's fire season, but it was just about 5 weeks ago, maybe, that a lot of us were forced inside or forced to evacuate even because dozens of those fires were burning out of control.
Joe Ranieri talked to the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center about these historic wildfires.
There's nowhere here that doesn't have fire.
Fire season in the Northwest this year was historic, to say the least.
We burned a record number of acres for the Pacific Northwest in fire season 2020. Most of that coming with the big push of winds at the end of the Labor Day weekend.
In Oregon alone, more than 1 million acres burned this year, and hundreds of homes burned to the ground. John Sultenberger is the Fire Weather Program Manager with the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center. He said we were dealing with a quiet fire season until Labor Day weekend.
What really drove the event was the strength and the suddenness of the winds that came on. And I confess I was surprised by how strong it got.
A combination of dry fuels, warm weather, and high winds spread the fires.
My heart sank on Monday afternoon on Labor Day when the winds got so strong that the trees at my home were bending over and branches were breaking off, and then the sky filled with smoke.
Over a month later,
and for all practical purposes, the fire season is over with for the Pacific Northwest.
Well, we might be wrapping up our wildfire season here in Oregon. It's a different story in California.
California remains dry. I see no rain in sight for them. They've been under a lot of offshore flow events, easterly wind events, similar to what we had here in the Pacific Northwest. And so that just keeps conditions dry down there.
And looking into the later part of this year, it doesn't appear Mother Nature is going to be kind to a state that has already seen its own historic fire season.
The oceanic cycle is already in a La Nina. And when La Ninas occur, typically Southern California remains dry. The Southern Plains, the Southern Rockies remain dry.
Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
That video, Rod, I'm telling you, I have a little bit of PTSD, and I'm just thinking of all the people, who have lost so much. But it wasn't that long ago that those things were in, full flame.
Yeah, of course, that east wind was was Labor Day night when that really picked up into the following Tuesday. Overall, the winds, going back to the Sunday forecast before, that wind forecast was pretty good. It talked about the fact that power lines might be closed over the Cascade Peaks with 70, 85 mile per hour winds, the 40 to 50 mile per hour winds in parts of the lowlands of the valley. And we got all of that. But I think it's fair to say that we've just never seen that type of an east wind event in the height of fire season. Because of that, a lot of people, maybe everybody, just wasn't really able to foresee that explosion of fire activity. California gets that with their seasonal wind patterns, but we really haven't seen that here that time of the year. And next time perhaps we'll be a little bit better prepared to realize what could be happening with those types of dry winds in the month of early September. All right, here we go. We have a few rain showers, mainly over the mountains up in western Washington. There might be even some spritzy showers up over the Cascades. Overall, it's a quiet Monday with kind of a mixture of cloud cover. This was last evening. Joy Voigt sending me this picture on my KGW Rod Hill Facebook page. You can do the same, and hopefully we'll get your shots on the air. Pretty shot there, again, from last evening. Good visibility coming into town this morning. We're at 56 degrees. A quiet day, all areas. 55 up in Kelso right now. It's 59 out in the Dalles. I said quiet, but there will be gusty winds out in the gorge today. Kind of typical west breezes with some gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. Otherwise, the winds will be fairly light. Here are the 7-day numbers. I think we have the chance for a few showers tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a lot like yesterday, which was barely traceable amounts of rain. Better chance of scattered showers Wednesday. Wettest part of the week is this system coming in the Friday PM hours into Saturday morning. That comes with some low snow levels. No. We'll talk about that coming up in about 8 minutes. For the cast.
Okay. I was going to say how low. Thank you, Rod. Well, distance learning is hard for a lot of kids and parents, but what if your home looked a little more like a classroom?
There are some kids, Brenda, in Beaverton who are finding out what that's like exactly. So they're getting the help from Workspaces created with cardboard. I look at these desks, I'm like, really? That's cardboard? That is cardboard. That story is 5 minutes away here on Sunrise. And then later this half hour, we're talking about the holiday season, how it will change this year because of COVID. We're going to take a look at the local traditions that are still happening and ones that will be different.